going on, guys? BSG Trek Fan 88 here for a quick little tidbit video. As you know, I'm a tech savvy guy. I can work around technology. You can give me a phone or a computer, and within an hour at most, I can pretty much work my way around it. But kind of like on a vehicle, whether it's a Jeep or a Mercedes or Ford or whatever it is, you can have all the most advanced technology that the manufacturers can offer, but there's four things connecting you to the ground, and that's the four tires. So you can have the most advanced safety procedures in place in the most advanced computer-controlled equipment. It's four pieces of rubber that are connecting you going 70 miles an hour on the highway to the road. Just like if you own a netbook or a tablet or a computer, there are certain things that can protect you from the outside world, whether it's virus protection, Trojan protection, how's that for a joke? Or in most cases, when it's a phone or a tablet, there are only a few things that can protect it from the outside world. Now, I'm very picky when it comes to phone, or in this case, tablet cases. Now, there are a lot of companies, there's a ton of companies that make cases or protection for, your various devices. Whether it's an iPhone, whether it's the latest Samsung Galaxy, whether it's a BlackBerry. Godspeed, BlackBerry is now pretty much dead, unfortunately, because I do admit BlackBerry does have its place in not only cell phone history and technology, but I like what it is, but whatever. BlackBerry, Apple, Samsung, or your various multiple Android devices. Now, a lot of people I know who own certain phones, not every phone, most people have some kind of case, but you and I both know that there are some people that we all know that don't put a case on their phone. And I know this is primarily going to be about a tablet, but there's a lot of people who own either an iPhone 5 or the new iPhone or Galaxy or whatever it is. They don't put a case on it. And their main excuse is, oh, well, I put it in my pocket whenever I'm not using it, so, if I put a case on there, it's going to be too big. Or, oh, well, I throw it in my pocketbook, and it never gets damaged. Okay, it's a cell phone, right? Cell phones are a dime a dozen. Whether it's the latest in technology, or you're still rocking the Motorola Razr from, 8-10 years ago, which was a great phone in its day. You're going to drop it eventually. I don't care how good you are. And me personally, I'm very, very good with technology. I clean it, I make sure it's ventilated. When it comes to a phone, I know my limitations when it comes to my job or when I'm hanging out at home. I know certain situations when I'm going to drop it. Regardless of wherever my phone is, whether I'm at home right now filming a video or I'm on vacation, it's in a case. Why is that? I have a warranty/protection plan on this phone where if I were to drop it, it was on the iPad, oops, oh, we're good. Case in point, if I were to drop it and the screen were to crack or the phone were to completely implode and cause a nuclear explosion on a small scale, I can get a new one and pay a $110 deductible. But that takes time, it's still money, and it's annoying. So why not protect your investment with a case? I don't like people who don't put a case of some kind on their phone. I don't care if it's even the stupid little plastic cases that have a leopard print on there that make your phone look better. Put some kind of case on your phone. That being said, 4 minutes into this video, why am I making this video? What I'm getting at is, since I owned a reasonably good phone, I have always had a case. And I'm very picky when it comes to my cases, and the reason why this video is 8 minutes in and I haven't talked about it yet is because I felt I had to lead it up to you. I love ballistic cases, okay? That's what's on my iPhone 5 right now. That's what's on my iPad mini, which this is a new device for me. I like it. I'm not an Apple fanboy, but I do like the iPad mini. And yes, that's a Battlestar Galactica sticker. On the case, not the iPad mini. Don't ever put a sticker on your devices, because it just, no. What I like about ballistic cases is that they're backed with a warranty, meaning if the case arrives to you, or if you buy it and you feel personally that, the rubber's not really lined up or it doesn't fit your phone properly, No hassle, no no questions asked, unless, it's a really weird issue. Like, it didn't get to me on time, or it didn't get to me at all. They will say, okay, we're going to mail you a new one. We'll include an envelope or a box, whatever it is. Mail us the old one back. No problem. I like their approach. Now, a lot of cases, like the OtterBox or the Life Case or the expanded versions of them with OtterBox and Life Case, like the waterproof ones or whatever, they really take away from the aesthetics of the device. And in some sense, that makes sense because you're waterproofing the phone, or you're really, really toughening it up. I mean, I work for the post office. I walk around all day. The phone's either in my satchel, mail satchel, or it's in my pocket, or it's in the truck. Okay, I don't work for construction. I don't work for the military. I understand that they need cases that are extremely resilient. But for your average public, I look at some of the OtterBoxes and some of the Life Cases and go, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, it just takes, like, okay, the iPhone 5, all right, I know that there's the 5C and the 5S, whatever. It has the fingerprint scanner, and it's a little bit different. I look at the iPhone 5 and think, honestly, again, not being an Apple fanboy, I love the iPhone 5 design, with the aluminum back, with the glass, with the... You've seen it. If not, you've read about it. Even if you're not a fan of Apple at all, you've probably seen pictures. Come on, you have to admit, the phone looks amazing. But when you put a case on it, like this, you don't see it. But if I was to show this to you, like dimension-wise, you'd think, oh, there's an iPhone in there. Ballistic works very hard to make sure that their cases don't distract, or what's the word? Don't detach your experience of using the phone completely. This is their second to highest end case. The next one above this, I honestly forget the model of this case. The next one above this has complete screen protection and is actually a little bit more water resistant. Everything is covered. There's little flips that you have to flap up, or flaps that you have to flip up, I guess, to plug things in. I don't like that. For me, it's not. It's worth it, but I don't go for that. I like this because it has the 4-corner protection, meaning when you drop this phone, which you will at some point, I have numerous times, okay, there you go, a foot drop. It has, again, on all 4 corners, extra rubber protection. On the back of the phone, it actually has a layer that's about 2 millimeters thick of not the same kind of rubber, but a rubberized material. So, for instance, if I was to put this on a desk and try and push it, it's going to try and stop itself because it's slightly rubberized, okay? Real quick, and I'll get into this in a minute, the iPad version, which I bought from them, unfortunately doesn't have that. Okay, I'll get back to that in a second. Anyway, this case is technically 3 layers. It has this backing here, all right? You can kind of see there's a little bit of a lip here. If I take the case off, or the outer layer, right? This is it right here. It's pretty solid. Takes a lot to bend it. I could break this if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. Even the camera lip here. So what's left is the iPhone itself with the rubberized case around it, which, as you can see, with the exception of the 4 corners and the top lips here, conforms to the phone very snugly, which I like because the iPhone 5 and beyond is very thin, very small, very compact, which is what people love in a phone, but without a case, it's vulnerable. Anyway, I peel this second layer off. All right, there's the phone. Oops, this is the rubber layer. Okay, so it's a dual layer system. This layer protects the phone from extreme shock on the corners, minor to medium shocks on the back of the phone, and then there's this second layer here, which goes over the rubber, okay, which adds extreme rigidity, I guess you could call it. So, pretty shock resistant. So when you put your phone in here, with the exception of the screen itself and maybe the camera, if you somehow manage to drop the phone in a manner where something's going to pierce the freaking camera, you're looking at a pretty solid case here. I've dropped my phone numerous times in the mail truck. I've dropped it on the ground from standing, not going okay, you know, I go to pick up my phone out of my pocket or whatever, and oops, I drop it on the fucking iPad. Jesus Christ. Let's flip it over. You know, I've dropped this phone, the iPhone 5, numerous times. Yet when I take the iPhone, which now that I've taken it out of the case, looks very thin, very small, very fragile, because it is. The backing of the phone, made out of aluminum, is strong, and of course this is Gorilla Glass, which is strong. But how many videos have you seen on YouTube where they do, oh, I'm going to do a drop test, and they drop the phone unprotected on the corner, and it cracks the whole screen, or the bottom quarter of the screen? I don't deal with that shit. So this case from Ballistic has proven itself time and time again. It's totally worth, I think I paid $39.99 plus shipping, which you can get free shipping or overnight or second day, whatever, it's up to you. You still have complete access to all the various inputs, i.e. headphone jack, microphone, lightning port, speakers. The only port that's covered, which isn't even really a port, it's the lock button. They make rubberized, which is nice. It actually feels a lot better than pushing the actual button without a case, but everything else is left open, including the volume switch or the angle indicator switch, depending on how you have it programmed. Now, I recently purchased an iPad mini. This is the 16 gigabyte. Oops. Well, I guess we're locked here. This is the 16 gigabyte iPad mini. Obviously, this is a much larger device. It's not a phone, so you're not going to be carrying it around with you, but it is prone to drops and, you know, dings and you know, sudden jolts and movements. So when I bought this, you know, I've read about the iPad. I'm not a huge Apple fanboy, like I keep saying, but you know, I like the design. It has the same design as the iPhone 5 with the brushed aluminum look, etc. But when I bought this and I took it out of the box, immediately I was thinking two things. One, if I drop this, given that it weighs obviously more than a phone and its size, I'm going to fuck it up royally. Two, to be honest with you, as much as having a small tablet is great, I mean, hello, this thing weighs nothing, it's an 8-inch tablet, it's awesome, but holding it, it felt too small in my hands, personally. It's a personal feeling. Some people love holding the iPad mini on its own or the iPad in general. I needed a case. Now, I bought from Ballistic the iPad mini case. Again, there's a couple different versions. There's one that's just rubber, there's one that covers the screen, there's one that's water resistant. I bought the one that pretty much resembles the iPhone case that I have, which is 2 layers. Again, the rubber layer that goes around the device and the back, and a layer of plastic and or rubberized plastic. Now, unfortunately, like I showed you earlier, this is not rubberized plastic on the back. It's literally, you know, like some kind of acrylic plastic. It's still pretty strong. There's still a layer of rubber underneath it, but unfortunately, if you were to put this on its back, like I showed you before, okay, it's prone to slipping around on a surface. So if you're going to put this flat on its back, the camera itself is completely protected because it's literally embedded in there, as you can see, which is great, but it is going to slide around. Even though I have a Galactica sticker on here, it's still going to slide around. That being said, you have your 4 corner support, you have the dual layer of the plastic and the rubber. Overall, holding this is much better because the way I hold it is usually like this or like this, and because you have the slightly larger corners, right, like literally just ever so slightly, it looks bigger in the picture than it really is. Holding this like this with the rubber on the outside on the front here and the plastic in the back, I can, you know, it's not going anywhere, unlike if you were to have it without a case. Right, it's corner drop resistant. Obviously, being an iPad, obviously being a tablet, it has a much bigger surface area, so when you drop this, you know, flexing, or if you drop it flat, you're more prone to scratches and cracking the screen. I don't have a screen protector on this for 2 reasons. One, I bought one and I think it was defective because it was the fuck, I forget where it went. It's the screen protector that I use on the iPhone, which I stand by. InvisiShield. You can buy it at Best Buy or online. I stand by InvisiShield. I love InvisiShield. It's the only screen protector I go with because there's no bubbles, there's no screen abnormalities. It's perfect on my phone. and I'm OCD about these things. I tried to put it on my iPad, and I think it didn't come with enough spray. I'm not going to get into that now, but in order to put it on, you have a spray that it comes with. The bottle, when you shake it, I guess from what I've read on forums, it's supposed to be completely full to allow you to put it on a device at least twice and then have some extra. It was like a quarter full. And I was like, whatever, I'll try and do it. It wouldn't work, so I'm going to try and return it. But anyway, no screen protector on this. Obviously, you're a little bit more vulnerable, but take care of your devices. That's all I got to say. But because of the simple fact that it allows me to hold my device a lot easier, it does protect it from, general drops and sudden jolts. With the exception of the screen, nothing's going to happen to this iPad. And being an iPad, I'm not going to take it everywhere I go. I'm just going to take it on trips, long car rides, airplanes. And in that case, being that it's going to be my primary device without a laptop, which is what I'm using right now to record this, I'm going to take care of it. I have another case that has a cover on it, but for my home life or in general, this is just fine. The only two problems I have with this particular Ballistic case, which is actually kind of weird for me because I like Ballistic. I've been using it for over 7 years. This particular case for the iPad, it's not two pieces. Like, remember how I showed you with the iPhone, how it has the rubber and then the plastic? It's almost like they merged the rubber and plastic on this, but because of the fact that it's so large, I can kind of see why they did that. But at the same time, putting the iPad into this case, I felt like I was going to break the fucking thing. And I actually did, taking the iPad out of this case before this review. I actually you're not going to be able to see. I actually cracked the case a little bit right here. Now, that being said, it doesn't affect this case at all. Like, literally, I could erase my mind and not remember that I cracked it, and it would be fine. But that being said, it would be nice if this was two pieces, so it would be easier to put the rubber on the iPad and then put the plastic on the outside. Not everybody's going to crack it. That was just me trying different ways to get this off. Once this case is on the iPad or iPad mini, you're not going to take it off. It should be something where you keep it on. If you're one of those people that uses different cases all the time for different parties, different moods, different trips, don't get this case. But if you're going to buy an iPad mini or an iPad and you're going to get a case that's going to stay on the iPad until it dies, this case is perfect. Again, being a larger tablet, it's an 8-inch screen as opposed to a phone, which, by the way, using this and then using this makes me feel like a fucking giant because the apps and everything are so much smaller. Anyway, the whole point of this video, which is now 15 minutes long, I'm very picky when it comes to cases. I buy a lot of them, I try them out, and end up going, no, it doesn't feel right. It feels like plastic, it feels cheap, it's not going to protect my devices. I've bought Ballistic cases since I had my HTC Evo, and I stand by them. They're a very good company when it comes to customer service. Their cases themselves are, in my opinion, kind of like the i6 for a Jeep. They're bulletproof. They're not perfect. They might break down. They might be a little bit defective. But between the customer service and the user friendliness and just how they protect their devices, they're a sure bet in my book. I prefer them well over OtterBox and the LifeProof cases. Granted, I don't get I don't get complete 360-degree coverage. I don't get the whole screen protection or water resistance. They do make cases for that. Those reviews might be different. But when it comes to the second to best or third to best cases, which offers complete shock protection and drop protection with the exception of the screen, I completely 100% go with them. So if your question to me was, what cases do you prefer? It's a Ballistic case. And another minor note here, I do like how they incorporated the Ballistic in rubber, showing through the plastic of the outside of the case, but at the same time, again, I wish it could be separated. Anyway, this is BSG Trekman 88, a little tired, had a few drinks, but I figured I would make this video for you guys. If you have any questions, again, as always, let me know, ask me. I'm very, very communicative, that's not a word. I communicate quite a bit with the comments and the YouTube community. I'm at 900 subscribers, so I'm almost at 1,000, which is pretty cool. Anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. BSG Trekman 88, signing out.